Hey everyone, Dead Pixel here, and welcome to No Man's Sky. This is going to be a full playthrough. I do not plan on skipping anything. I plan to do as much teaching as I can for new players, but this will not be a full tutorial, but it will be a new playthrough. So thanks again for watching, and let's get going. Alright, so we have crash landed on Tros, which is a cold planet. Hazard protection is falling, so let's see. Are there any caves nearby? It doesn't look like it. Oh, but there is some carbon. Oh, there might be a cave up here. So this is condensed carbon. Definitely going to be great for recharging my mining gun that you see me using to gather it. Alright, so first thing we need to do, our hazard protection is falling, so we are scanning. But our scanner is broken. No surprise there. So we'll need to fix it. And our suit computer here is telling us that we can do that by gathering ferrite dust. You can do that by mining those little rocks, as you saw me doing. Also, since my protection is falling pretty quickly here, if you run into a cave, you can get some free hazard protection. So that's what I'm going to do while I mine some of this cobalt. That's going to come in handy because I am going to want to make some batteries to recharge this hazard protection. So that's going to be cobalt and ferrite dust. So since I'm in a cave, we might as well go ahead and grab it. What you just saw there was my mining beam getting a little overheated. You can just watch that in the top right hand corner. You can see the beam is starting to heat up, but as it heats up, it also increases the speed in which it will mine. So you can kind of play with that, kind of increase, decrease to get a little bit of faster mining efficiency. Just for, what would they call that, a pro tip, is that what they say? Alright, so, although that's a cave, there doesn't seem to be a lot of rocks around it, so, oh, that's gonna hurt. Alright, here's ferrite dust, alright, grabbing that. Definitely want to be careful. You see me jetpacking around. Jetpack in the beginning does not have a lot of reserves or power, so it'll run out pretty quick. Definitely try and leave yourself some so you don't just immediately smack the ground and get a rude awakening. Alright, so still collecting some ferrite dust here. You really can't have enough of this stuff, especially in the beginning. You don't have any money, and you're stranded on a planet. This stuff, don't sell yourself short. Spend a few minutes collecting some. You won't regret it. Alright, so fixing our scanner here is going to require 75 of that ferrite dust, so that is now repaired. And we're going to scan now for sodium. Ah, right over here. Can we just come from here? Alright. So there's some sodium right over here, apparently. Ah, so it's on top of here. I could probably make it across, but we won't. Ah. So this here is a hazardous plant. You can get oxygen from hazardous plants. That's what you just saw me doing there. Alright, hit that scanner again. So sodium's right here. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, so cute. Okay. Okay, so there's a couple of sodiums over here, so that worked out. We'll grab one of these. Bada bing. Bada boom. Recharge our mining beam with that condensed carbon that we got earlier, and we'll also go ahead and recharge our hazard protection also with that sodium that we collected. So let's gather some more ferrite dust. And since we've now completed that part of the quest, we're getting a signal. So let's go ahead and make our way over that way. This is the distress beacon signal source. And remember, again, anything that you see that you're able to mine along the way, definitely recommend picking that up. Things like ferrite dust, cobalt, we picked some of that up in that cave, sodium for your hazard protection. Oh, look. You'll find these everywhere. They contain various objects. So look, we got some dihydrogen. That's definitely going to come in handy. Rusted metal, throw that in your exosuit. We got some oxygen out of there. Alright, so I haven't really seen much dihydrogen unless I just haven't been paying attention, but if we do see some of that, that's going to come in handy for sure. And speaking of, so this is dihydrogen. Cannot get enough of this stuff. Like, I mean, don't spend, an hour mining it. Like, you'll definitely have more than you need very quickly, but you will use this pretty much the entire game. So I would grab as much of it as you can within reason. Damaged machinery. We'll go ahead and grab the rusted metal out of here. Now, the rusted metal can be sold. It can be refined into ferrite dust. Kind of just one of those things you can get from there. Not totally necessary. After a couple of hours, I find myself just destroying it when I run across it. So, up to you, but that is an alternative source. Also, these oxygen plants, there will always be one, like a little cluster of at least 4 near your ship. So I definitely recommend grabbing that when you see it. Here's our distress beacon. Boundary separation failure. Call Sentinel intervention delivered transfer. Go ahead and broadcast. Traveler anomaly detected. Anomaly is compliant. Position logged. System integrity scan initialized. Investigate the crash ship. Look at all those sparks and things going right here. It's like, am I supposed to get in here? This looks like a hazard. Iteration something online. Atlas connection intermittent. Launch thrusters offline. Pulse engine offline. I find myself alone in a strange world, unequipped and in danger. The controls react to my touch, or at least to that of my exosuit. I am not dead yet, and this ship is a lifeline out to the stars. Alright, I'm going to connect my exosuit. Substituting data. Repairing ship systems, self-guided repair protocols initiated. Alright, so our pulse engine is critically damaged. Let's go ahead and hop out here. We're going to need to fix that. So first things first, we're going to need a metal plating. We've got plenty of ferrite dust, so we can go ahead and throw that in here to fix our pulse engine, at least partially fix. Alright, so hopping back in, let's see what we got here. Vital ingredients missing. Pulse engine requires hermetic seal. We're going to need some assistance there. There's a planetary chart inside of this distress beacon, so let's go ahead and grab that. And use square to plot. Alright, we'll be heading that way, it looks like. Alright, so I believe that there's a storm a coming. So basically, once you plot, I believe it's once you plot, you are automatically on a doomsday timer for a storm to roll in. So based on the planet that you start on, they will always be hazard planets. They will try and kill you on normal mode. It's not something to, worry too much about. But either way, depending on what type of hazard planet you're actually on, there will be a storm of that associated type that will attack your hazard protection. So if you're on a cold planet, it will be like a blizzard or some kind. If you're on a hot planet, it'll be a heat storm of some kind. So, dihydrogen, big cluster of it. So we're going to grab this, and we're also going to grab that condensed carbon that was what I was originally headed towards. We should have plenty of ferrite dust. There's that storm. You heard our Siri suit telling us that it's on its way here. It's going to get real cold. Alright, so gun overheated. I don't need to get every single one of the dihydrogens. But this condensed carbon, though, I'm going to go ahead and stock up on as much of this as we can. Now, you also can make condensed carbon by throwing regular carbon into a refiner, literally condensing and or compressing it. But it's just right here. It's right here, guys. We're just going to go ahead and just shoot it. Okay, so we got a dihydrogen jelly, we got another dihydrogen jelly, and we need an Atlas pass to open that, which we don't have access to just yet. So we're going to go ahead and make our way over here towards our ship, about 480 units. Look at that little guy. Alright, so as you can see, hazard protection's falling pretty quick. Now, as I said earlier, I was going to make some batteries. The cobalt we got from the cave, as well as some of the ferrite dust, will allow us to construct a few batteries. What are the batteries for? Well, I'm glad you asked. I can recharge my hazard protection with a battery as opposed to sodium resource. So this is a good, efficient way, I think, especially as you kind of make your way through the game. You will have more cobalt and more ferrite dust than you can ever ask for, and it's a really cheap and efficient way to keep your hazard protection charged without utilizing the materials that you're mining and or purchasing. So definitely recommend that. I've got a couple now, and like I said, we're not in a lot of danger here. We could dip into any of the many caves that we've run across. Any of the sodium that we have picked up can be used to recharge the suit and the battery again. So lots of ways to survive. Just don't be stupid. I mean, don't be stupid. And I can say that. Go ahead and throw that in my suit. I can say that because I have died doing real dumb stuff. Like, who leaves the safety of their compound without any way to survive the hazardous environment on the outside world? Well, I'll tell you who. Me. I've done it. I've done it more times than I can tell you. Look at this little thing. He's so little. Okay. Getting distracted. Headed over here, and we need to find a hermetic seal. We may or may not grab that dihydrogen on the way back. Oh, alright, here we go. Look at that. Look at that. I just like to hit the scanner every once in a while. Those little blue, what is this, deuterium? Those plants give your exosuit jetpack a super boost. So you can definitely boost for a long time. Um, I wouldn't say it's a long time. I'll probably grab it in a second just to give you guys an idea of why you may or may not want to grab one of those when you see one. Alright, so same as the cave, same as the ship, we're no longer exposed to the elements, so that's why our hazard protection is recovering. Accessing the archives. Yes, yes, yes. Well, what came flying out of here is the exact part that we need, guys. What a coincidence. It is not a coincidence at all. That is the same for everybody. Uh, it appears that someone left the exact thing we were looking for. Dun, dun, dun. So, you can search, not all potted plants, but it doesn't hurt to point your face over there towards one because sometimes they do contain things that you could search for. Also, these navigation little data pods and things. We're going to grab those anytime we see them, at least in the early game. We'll definitely collect some. All right, so we need to install our analysis visor, which requires one carbon nanotube. So we need a little bit more carbon. So while, let's see, I don't know which way we're supposed to be going. All right. Okay, well, I think we're headed back that general direction. So I'm going to grab this plant, blue plant, the deuterium rich. So check it out. It's immediate, but jetpack power surge. So as you can see, we get a nice super boost. I don't know if you go faster or not, but you definitely get a lot more out of it. Just watch it, because once it starts running out, I would definitely try and get closer to the ground before you use the last remaining of your boost. Alright, so we are looking for a little bit more carbon. So plants, in a lot of similar ways to the normal periodic element, there will be a lot of similarities with No Man's Sky. So living things, and we're going to just go with like basic ideas of what you believe to be living things. So plants, animals, those will generally give you carbon, they'll give you oxygen, things like that. So we've taken out a couple trees here, grabbing the carbon. Just grab one more here. I do have condensed carbon, but condensed carbon and carbon are actually two different things as far as the game is concerned, with different effects. So you can run condensed carbon through a refiner and receive carbon, and you can, and vice versa, do the same for carbon. You can put the carbon in a refiner and then grab the condensed carbon on the output. So we needed one carbon nanotube for us to fix our analysis visor. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Bada boom, bada bing. And now we know what direction our ship is in. Oh, and more dihydrogen. Because dihydrogen is so easy to get, I feel like there is a lot of recipes that will very quickly use it up. So I really can't stress it enough. like the battery for hazard protection, you do have a very similar. Um, I can actually show it to you here. Um, because I have two dihydrogen jellies, I've got carbon as well, I can make the life support gel. So very similar to the battery. So I can recharge my mining beam with the condensed carbon, more efficient. I can recharge my hazard protection with my batteries, and my life support with, instead of using my actual harvested oxygen, I can use my life support gel. So just little tips of the trade there. I would definitely recommend uh, carrying a couple of those with you. And again, because dihydrogen is so abundant, it's really easy to stack up uh, on life support gel as the same way as cobalt and ferrite dust will allow you to really stock up on the batteries. So just a little tip there. So with that said, we are on our way back to the ship. We've just fixed the analysis visor. That's why I've got our compass up there. It's giving us a little directional data. Now, there's a lot of reasons why you might want to kind of spend a little time um, scanning. So, scanning in general gives you a better idea of what exactly and where exactly you are. So, in the same way that I have, let's see if I can get uh, a good, let's try some of this. Okay, so notice this, it's red on my screen, and you can see that it's an unidentified plant there on the left. We don't know anything about it, but once I scan, you can see in the middle of my screen I have quote unquote discovered it. I got paid a little bit of money, 500 units, and now back over here to the left, you can see that it was discovered by me, and also you can see some of the other things about the actual plant. So you've got it's a fresh plant, the root structure. I don't know if those things are really that important in the long run, but most importantly, I think is going to be the primary element and the secondary element. Not everything will have a primary element. Not everything will have a secondary element, but there can be more than just a primary element. So you get paid a little bit. It gives you a little bit of an indication of what possible things can be on the planet, and also, as you can see kind of there in the distance, that little red dot, once we get to a little bit of higher ground, perhaps I'll be able to show you, generally speaking, if there's a planet with um, animals that fly or creatures that fly, you'll kind of see them in the sky. So notice that creature over here is red. I'm going to go ahead and scan it, same as always. Got paid 1,600, but most importantly for the living creatures, I think, or at least the ones that move, is you can see that its behavior is passive, and kind of as a quick glance, we'll scan this one because it's closer. Quick glance, you can see it now has this little green indicator on it. So not only do I know that this is a friendly, or at least a creature that won't, actively attack me, but I can also tell by that I have also just recently discovered that creature, or I've already discovered that creature. So gonna grab that for the boost, and we are on our way. Alright, so jet power fading, so we'll use it to cushion that landing. That's how at least I like to use them, free oxygen plant. Alright, so making our way across here. Ooh. Eventually, we will be able to improve that jetpack, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. In the early stages, there will be ways to improve that later. Alright, so we've made it back to our ship. And, oh look, little tiny. I'm on consoles, so I'm using the R3 to zoom in and out. You don't have to remain on the object, you can move away, as you saw me do. I don't have to stay there once the scan has begun, as long as you keep holding the scan button, which on PS5 by default that's going to be your R2. It will go ahead and complete that scan for you as well. Alright, so here we are. You don't have to be in the ship, but I would recommend it, especially if you're running low on that hazard protection. You get in the ship, and we're going to go ahead and start the repairs here. Alright, pulse engine repaired. Go ahead and hop out and see what our next step is here. Launch thrusters. We need dihydrogen jelly and pure ferrite. So we do have plenty of that. So we'll make one dihydrogen jelly. Now for pure ferrite, we're going to need ferrite dust, both to literally make pure ferrite. You need to refine ferrite dust. But also we're going to need a fair amount of this in general, because we are going to also need to make the refiner itself, which requires metal plating, which you guessed it, will get. Fesium is poop, by the way, so we're just going to go ahead and take that out. It has its uses, so don't worry about it. Alright. Oh, and we got an S class. That's the best class upgrade module that we can get. So we'll mess around with that here in a second. That's really good. Alright, so kind of lost my train of thought there. We are grabbing ferrite dust. Scan this thing here. Ah, okay, look at that. We need an advanced mining laser to even get it out of there. Alright, so let's see. So we need one metal plate, and this will allow us to place our refiner down. Refiner is going to need carbon, and we are throwing our ferrite dust in there. And we need 50 pure ferrite. Alright, just one off, that's okay. We'll throw that in our suit, and we'll throw that in our suit. Now, any fuel, i.e. carbon or condensed carbon that you place in here cannot be removed from here, at least not traditionally. The way that you would generally want to do that is by hitting R3 and picking it up, at least on PS5, and as you can see, not only did the refiner return, but we also got the fuel back as carbon, and that's if you put condensed carbon in there as well. So you need carbon, and you only have condensed carbon. You can throw it in a refiner, pick up the refiner, and you'll get regular carbon back. Pro tip. So we are going to go ahead and first grease the launch thruster, and then second, we're going to fix the launch thruster part. Alright. All systems functional. Seek answers among the stars. Well, let's take off. Wabam! Beautiful. Now, personally, guys, I prefer the third-person view, So that is what I'm going to do. And we're going to go ahead and leave the planet. All right, so we are in this place that I'm not going to try and pronounce, and it was actually already discovered by a player, so that's actually pretty cool. Now, when you see these asteroid belts, especially early game or if you're in clutch mode and need something, you know, I've been on planets where I need gold, need silver, and I can't get any. Can't get any from any trading, can't find any to mine, just not in good shape. So gold, silver, platinum, tritium, various things that you will need these things in abundance throughout the game. You can get those things from the asteroid belts. So I would recommend don't spend an hour doing this unless that's your thing, but doesn't hurt to grab a few as you saw I did there. So we're going to go ahead and fly out here. So we need to test our various systems. I've already kind of been doing them on accident, so tested my thrusters, and now I'm going to go ahead and test the pulse engine, and we'll go ahead and turn it right back off, and we're waiting. Oh, what were we waiting on? I swear I'm not clairvoyant. We've got a message, so let's see what it is. It's an incoming transmission from a source. I'm going to identify myself. You're right, I am not. Whatever you said. Follow the something. The broadcast ends as strangely as it began. The final piece of the signal appears to be a set of planetary coordinates. Well, let's go ahead and input that coordinate data.
Alert. Navigational data received.
And, okay, so it's over here somewhere. Okay. So, might as well, if you point your ship over, you can scan. That's a quagmire planet, not really sure what that means. And let's see here. Ooh, this is actually a paradise planet, so this is lovely. All right, so let's go ahead and zip on over here. So this planet has starbulb, copper, paraphenylum, and salt on it. So this should be fun. We're headed to our next little source here, and it's a paradise planet, which means it's pretty much, it's a paradise planet. All right, coming in. All right, let's reorient ourselves here, and we'll come in hot here. Now, once it says that you're entering the atmosphere, you got to keep in mind that our quest objective is actually an approximate location. So I like to scan once you're in that general vicinity, and as you can see, more than likely, this is where we're actually going to go. So I'm going to go ahead and slow it down here. And we're going to come on in for landing. Look at that. Go ahead and pop out. Bada boom. Look at that. So let's go ahead and check this broken machinery and decipher the signal. 16, 16, 16. All right, so it looks like we're going to get our base computer, extracting the plans for the base computer, which we'll need some chromatic metal for. We also got our terrain manipulator. So, for the terrain manipulator, these are both going to be things, well, the terrain manipulator is going to be an attachment for our multi-tool here. So we already have the mining beam, we already fixed the scanner, we added our analysis visor, and next we'll need to install our terrain manipulator. We need 2 carbon nanotubes and 1 dihydrogen jelly. So right over here. 2 carbon nanotubes. 1 dihydrogen jelly. Go back over here in our multi-tool. Bada boom, bada bing. Alright, all fixed. Alright, so we have just installed our terrain manipulator, and the only thing left for us to do is to go find some copper. But we are going to do that on the next episode. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. If you want to come along on my journey, definitely subscribe. This will be a full playthrough. We are not going to skip anything. So thanks again, and I will see you next time.